So we had Pone last week, was it 2 weeks ago, on jam sessions, and we're like, "Hey man, tell us about yourself." And he was like, he just starts chatting, how he got into DJing, and then he just started talking about all this stuff. We're like, "Dude, you got crazy stories, man. We gotta put you on SIPnJAM." So I'm really excited to bring him on because he's really dope, really talented cat, and definitely has a lot of stories to share. So yeah, let's do it. Let everyone welcome DJ Pone. Are you gonna talk?
Can you hear me?
Clear, loud and clear.
All right,
sir.
cool. I'm excited to be here. Yeah.
All right. So, how I usually like to start this with everyone is because I always feel like everyone's upbringing, the neighborhood they grew up in, kind of makes you the person you are today, right? So yeah, take us back to where you're born and all that.
Yeah. Kind of a typical Filipino-American story, or one of the typical Filipino-American stories. Dad in the Navy, mom was a nurse. Everyone put ones up if your dad was in the Navy, or your mom was a nurse, or your dad was a nurse, or mom was in the Navy. Just won the chat. So I was born in San Diego, California, where many Filipino-American kids were born when their dads came in from the Philippines into San Diego. Never lived in Southern California, though. We moved to Florida quickly thereafter, and I only spent a couple of years there. I don't have many memories in Florida. That was just when I was a little baby. But we moved back to the Bay Area when I was about 4. And so I've kind of been in the Bay Area ever since. But since my parents were always moving around all over the place, even within the Bay Area, though, I kind of lived everywhere from like Union City. I lived in Fremont, California. I lived in Antioch, California, down by Pittsburgh. But where I ended up in the later part of my middle school years was the Fairfield Sassoon area. So 707 North Bay. And that's where I most identify with.
Cool. Okay. So then from there, how how did you get into music? And I know you did mention like Yo MTV Raps. And...
Yeah. I grew up like when Yo MTV Raps came out in the mid '80s. I was a really big fan of it, and just really got into rap music at the time, which at that time, like 1986, what did you have? Like 1987, just like Eric B. and Rakim, EPMD. One of my favorites was EPMD, actually, just like watching DJ Scratch like cut it up on the turntables. I always wondered as a kid, what it would be like to do that.
Cool. So, and then I guess there was like a pivotal moment in 8th grade. You met a key important person.
Yeah. So that's when my parents bought a house in the Fairfield Sassoon area, and I went to school in middle school in Fairfield, California, in the middle of 8th grade, and I met my boy, who become my best friend in middle school, Emil, and he was in the future he'd be a founding member of the DJ crew called Can Beats, and that's a nice photo there. That's in Emil's backyard, in about I think that was maybe 1990 or early 1990. It's really bright. It's a summer. So Emil's there on the left in like the horrid...
Someone needs to do some gardening though, for real.
Yeah, it's all good. Because, we're all wearing like the floral shirts, dude. Like, so we just kind of match the 1990 floral shirts. Like Emil all the way on the left in the floral shirt. Our boy Eric there, and his brother Mark. And to Mark's right, I'm kind of hiding behind his shoulder in the purple hat. So you don't get to see my horrible like 1990s flower shirt. And Mike Awesome is there to my right, with his... Everyone has high hair too. That's so awesome right there. And little Hadrian there, Emil's little brother, is right there. So that's the crew. Emil, all the way on the left, I met in the middle of 8th grade, and we just kind of hit it off and became good friends.
Okay. And so then at that point, I think you also met you mentioned him just now. You met another key person.
Yeah.
in the group?
So around 19, maybe Mike Awesome could say in the chat, but Mike Awesome moved to the Fairfield area from Daly City. And he was like family friends with Emil, and so that's how we got to know each other. That's why, you know, Mike Awesome was in the backyard with me, Emil, Eric, and Mark. With coming from Daly City in the early 90s, Mike brought with him just like this whole stories and culture of mobile DJing. We didn't have too much of that up in Fairfield, although like a few years later it would start to happen. But in like 1990, man, it just Mike brought all those stories like to us about how he was like he hung around with a mobile DJ crew and everything. I don't remember their name. Maybe Mike Awesome could say in the chat like what mobile crew he hung out with in Daly City. But meeting Mike was an important part of my future, because Mike was a guy who basically taught me how to DJ.
Mm-hmm. Cool. And so then from that point, I think you decided to get your own tables, right?
Yeah. Going on all around this time, too, in the early 90s was just like a Qbert. Qbert kind of like looms large in the early like turntablist DJ history, because Qbert was just like winning like, you know, the World DJ Championship around that time. So stories of Qbert would get around. Mind you, this was pre like widespread internet usage, so it was all like word of mouth. Like, wow, there's like this cat named Qbert with just like he could just like scratch, like totally cool and stuff, and he just like won the world championship and everything, and so that's what was happening at the time. It was also like the golden age of hip hop, and so just going back to my Yo MTV Rap City watching days. It all kind of influenced me like right there, and just like Mike coming to town and letting us know what he was doing with DJ, and just set it off. I was encouraged, and I was lucky to have parents who were down to buy me some cheap turntables at first, but that's what I learned on. If I could drop brand names here, if I got like cheap Gemini turntables. Everyone has their early cheap turntable stories if they started DJing in the 90s. So Gemini, my first turntables. Mike taught us how to mix on those.
Nice. So Mike actually said it's Audio Dynamics and DMP.
Okay.
It's a crew that he used to roll with, I believe.
Audio Dynamics out of Daly City. DMP. What is DMP? I don't know what that stands for. Mike Awesome, if you could say what that stands for, that would be great. Help me tell the story, Mike.
And then, so I believe there was a showcase that you went to as well that kind of got you even more hooked.
Yeah. This was the tail end of, for those of you who kind of know the history about the Bay Area mobile DJ scene from like the 80s. If you don't, you should read books by like Oliver Wang, like Legion of Boom, and you should talk to Lonnie Love, Lonnie Love, the Bay Area Lonnie Love, who I think she did like her master's thesis or something on Bay Area DJ history, and so you could read up on that. But anyways, the early 90s was like the tail end of like, you know, these showcase battles where there'd just be mobile DJ crews setting up their setups. Like sound clashes, I guess, would be like a comparable thing if you're from another town. So there was a big mobile DJ battle called DJ Extravaganza in Santa Clara. This was about 1992. But it was a DJ battle with like 6 crews or something battling it out. And the crew that won was like Lotta Sounds from Oakland. And they had some dope mixing, but I think like the visual that they had, they were on like this hydraulic like lift, like lifted up the DJ like coffin and the DJ like 15 feet in the air, and just like with helicopter lights like attached to it. It was like the most awesome thing I'd ever seen, like compared to DJs I see at school dances. And they won that battle with both the DJ skills and the visuals, and man, that was awesome. That was awesome. That really got me into the whole like thing that performance DJing is like something I really wanted to get into.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, so you're talking about, yeah, they're on a scissor lifts, right? And there's like helicopter lights and
yeah.
Awesome. Okay, so there was another key moment in your life that we actually dug up, and you're like, "Oh my god, I forgot about it."
Yeah. So we just DJ'd. So I started Can Beats in the middle of high school. The founding members were my friend Emil, Mike Awesome, my other friends from the neighborhood, Mars and David, DJ Verge, and not Verge. I was about to say Verge, DJ Verge, and we had a mobile DJ crew. We do like garage parties and everything. I was really into scratching and everything, but I really didn't do that at gigs. But I was trying to get into it, and so by chance, I have an older sister who's a couple of years older than me, and she had a friend in the neighborhood. Her name was Anne, and Anne used to live in San Francisco, and she was friends way back with a certain DJ. His name was Qbert, and so Anne brought Qbert over to my house. I think probably to see my sister. Maybe he wanted to talk to my sisters. Like, who knows? I wasn't thinking about that part. But Anne brought Qbert to my house. This was like 1992-ish or something. And I was just like totally geeked out to be hanging out with like Qbert like at my own house. For sure. And I forgot who had like a DJ battle tape. Like, I don't know if there's some DJ battle tape that we were watching and just like at my house, and I was totally geeking out on it. Try not to be like all like super like on the nuts or anything, but just like whatever. And Qbert actually went to my, like he asked if I had turntables, and I showed him, and he showed me a basic pattern, and I showed you the other day. So you want me to do it? Okay,
yeah,
I'll do it.
Everyone. Yeah.
So anyone who's down with DJ Aladdin, like 1989 DMC US champion from LA, he had like this famous routine with Rock the Bells, and so Qbert was showing me like these juggle patterns with Rock the Bells, and so let me see if I could do this. All right. Can you hear that?
Yep.
All right.
LL Cool J is hard as hell. Battle anybody, I don't care.
Okay, everyone knows Rock the Bells. This is a pattern that Qbert taught me right here. Whoa. All right. So
nice. Yeah.
So he taught me that pattern, and just being taught by the man himself, man. Wow. I guess that really encouraged me to just kind of go forth with just practicing scratching, juggling, eventually going to DJ battles. We'll talk about that later. But yeah, I totally forgot about that moment until like I was talking to you. You were asking me about early influences and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So, Qbert, there's a second story out of 3 interviews we've done about you, man. We got to bring you on the show. How influential you've been on, man. It's crazy. It's really cool, though. So, yeah. Okay. So, and then after that, I think you mentioned you got some Technic tables eventually, right? You saved up some money.
Well, I asked for one for like my birthday, and then I asked for one for like Christmas, and then just there it goes. So.
Yeah, and then so obviously this was all, I believe, in high school, right? And,
it was all in high school.
Yeah, and I remember asking you like what you did and stuff like that, and you did do wrestling for 3 years, so it wasn't just DJing, right? And so we were talking about this. I think that was the beginning of your competitive edge, right?
It kind of was. I did some high school sports. The main one was wrestling, and I guess I'm pretty introverted. I can be pretty nerdy. I think like scratch DJs tend to generally be nerdy in different ways and introverted as well. But I think to being in high school sports, wrestling just unlocked or not unlocked, but maybe unearthed like this whole like competitive nature that I have. It kind of let it out in battle DJing.
For sure. Hey, the chat was saying real quick. They said that it sounds like you tried on the DMC jacket. Was he wearing it that day?
Cubert's DMC jacket. Cubert might have had like I think because I think Mike Awesome, DJ Mars D, our friend DJ Mars D, Neo G, I'm not sure if he was there. He might have been there. Cubert might have been like wearing his jacket. I might have gone to try it on. I don't know. I don't remember that part, but thank you guys for remembering that. I don't remember. It's a blur.
It's like, like the Masters, like the golf, like the Masters jacket. It's like, oh, you get to try on the DMC jacket. Well, you can't remember that though?
I don't remember. I remember like the scratch pad. That was the whole like Rock the Bells thing. That's like locked in my mind, but I don't remember many other details about it. Yeah, that's but I'm glad that my friends were there to remember some of the stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. Okay, cool. So then from that point, well, I guess it kind of overlaps a little bit. The Can Beats crew was formed, right? Like around 92-ish?
Around 1992, 90, probably late 91, early 92, yeah.
And I remember asking you, what do you think, or at least from your distant memory, maybe everyone can refresh your memory, what was your first gig?
One of the earliest gigs I remember, and Neo Geo, Mike Awesome could probably remind me. Actually, Neo Geo, even though Neo Geo is Can Beats, he's my brother and everything, he wasn't a founding member of Can Beats, but we could talk about that a little later. He did grow up in the same DJ scene as me here in Fairfield, California. But our first gig, at least one of the early ones that we talked about, we were doing garage parties and stuff, and the summer of 92, Neo Geo and Mike Awesome could probably remember this, we got invited to do a DJ showcase, somewhat like one of the high school crews from Fairfield, California wanted to have like their own like DJ showcase, like the one I was talking about, but just for high school kids, kind of like DJ showcase. And so they invited a bunch of DJ crews to a house, and we all got to set up like in different rooms in the house. And I didn't put two and two together, and we got stuck in the garage. We were DJing in the garage, like all the little b-boy kids like doing their flares and everything. And I didn't really figure this out until I was talking to you about it, man. It's like, we got the garage, man. But some of the more senior DJ crews, they got to or cooler DJ crews, they got to DJ in the house. And that's where all like the girls were dancing. We got to DJ in the garage for all like the b-boys, which was cool, I guess. But we're like, where are all the girls at? They were inside with like the cooler DJ crews, man. And at that time, actually, DJ Neo Geo, my boy, he was with one of our rival DJ crews, a crew called Down for Sound, and he got to DJ on the inside, for Down for. Neo could tell you all about that because I wasn't there. We were DJing with the uncool kids in the garage.
But here's the thing. Remember, you did say he was in the other room, but he actually left with you guys that night. So that might have been the pivotal moment where he transferred to you guys, right?
It might have been a pivotal moment. Something about Neo Geo. Even though he was with a rival DJ crew, he hung out with me, Emil, Mike, Mars, and Verge a lot. Emil had Neo Geo in a class, I think like a math class, and sorry if I'm outing you, Neo Geo, but Emil and Neo used to cut class a lot together, and that's how they became good friends. But thanks to their high school delinquency, Neo Geo got to be a good part of our friend circle, and eventually he became one of us. And at that summer DJ showcase at the house I was just talking about, if you DJ'd high school house parties before, cops get called on when it's too loud. So the cops got called on us, and we were just rushing to get out of there. And Neo left with us, man. Neo, you left with us in the truck, right? Was it Gordon's truck? The Gordon trucks, now it's all coming back to me. We left in my boy Gordon's truck. We were like throwing equipment like in the back of like his truck, and Neo rode with us, man.
Nice.
That was so fun. Memories coming back.
So I actually broke this in parts, right? So obviously we were talking about the beginnings, talking about forming the crew. So now this is I call this your scratching era. Okay. So you were talking about DJ Badrock, if you want.
Yeah. So DJ Badrock, I don't know if you have that photo. I'd love for you to find that photo of DJ Badrock and I. But
which is it? Oops.
There it goes.
One?
That's a good photo. That's DJ Badrock in the center. He's from Fairfield, California as well. He's a pretty prominent DJ. I would say he's one of the most successful battle DJs to never have battled in DMC. He didn't do DMC for some reason, but he won the Vestax, this DJ manufacturer, the Vestax World Championship in like 1999. He went to Tokyo and like took out like the world in 1999. Anyway, he was a couple years older than me. Grew up with my sister, and this picture right here is years later, like 1997, at a DJ battle. He's like holding up like the check he just won. He got money. I'm just like here like, I got a trophy. But anyways, that's a few years into the future. We're going back to like where I started with DJ Badrock. I got acquainted with DJ Badrock. Again, he's from Fairfield, California, because he was in my sister's friend circle, and I hung out. I got to hang out with my sister once in a while, and I knew Vince DJ'd. His name's Vince. Yeah, Badrock, Vince. And there's one story that Vince likes to talk about. Badrock likes to talk about, where I went over his house like one night, just like asking if I could scratch, and then like I was just scratching all night. Vince went off and watched TV or something, and he said he came back and I was still scratching like from dusk till dawn. I was just scratching at his house. That's like how into scratching I was. But I do have to thank kind of Badrock for taking me under his wing like that. So going in from high school, like I graduated in 1993 into like the mid 1990s. All sorts of things were happening to me, going off to college and everything. Moved away from Fairfield to Berkeley. But in 1996, there was this big DJ event called Agenda 96. And I don't know if Newton, and there's a flyer to it. It's a flyer that lists like all the Bay Area DJ crews that they could think of, man. And so you could find Can Beat's name on there somewhere. But by the mid-90s, that whole showcase battle thing was just like, it wasn't happening anymore. It was kind of dead. But whoever threw this event, Agenda 1996, they wanted to bring that back, at least for one night. So at the Galleria in San Francisco, they threw this big event. Badrock and I went, and that's where we found out about our first DJ battle. There wasn't a DJ battle there, but someone was advertising, like was passing out flyers to a DJ battle. And if you ever went to DJ battles, like in the 1990s, you know about the whole car show DJ battle thing. And so there was this car show battle that was going to happen in the summer of 96, and I was like, me and Badrock were looking at the flyer, and we kind of challenged each other. I was like, if you battle, like I will, I guess, and we both decided to go for it. And it was a car show battle at the Alameda County Fairgrounds. For those of you who know, like Good Guys auto shows, Sunday, Alameda County Fairgrounds. Like there was a battle there on the stage, and yeah, that was my first one. Me and Badrock entered.
Yeah. I think maybe later that year there was another prominent battle that you entered. Pleasanton, the car show, or is that the same?
Oh, that same one, one, yeah.
So yeah, just so everyone knows, because you mentioned all the names of the people participating, and I believe you placed, correct?
Yeah, I placed third at my
Yeah,
first DJ battle,
so-
which is kind of cool. Yeah.
So mention all the names of the people who were in this battle, because it's like, damn, man, you placing third. That's pretty
Yeah.
dope. Go ahead.
So so if you all know Supernatural Turntable Artists, that's the battle that battle crew. That's where they all met and they formed their crew. So DJ Realm from the Supernatural Turntable Artists won the battle. DJ Remedy, who ended up being a Guitar Center like DJ champion as well. He's from San Jose. He got second. I got third. So all the members of Supernatural Turntable Artists were battling there too. You know, like Swift Rock, DJ Streak, Doc Rice, if y'all remember Doc Rice. Kubert was there judging, Shortcut as well. This was like when Invisible Scratch Pickles was starting to get popular and everything. So, oh, wait. I this was not intentional, but I used this record like in my routine. I don't know if this specific one, but this was one of the records I used in that routine.
Nice.
DJ Cash Money.
So, okay, can you guys tell how humble this guy is right here? He's like, oh, I did third. There's these other people in it. Man, that's sick, though. That's really dope. Seriously. Much props to you. And there's more to the story. Okay, so then I get from there. You said you started entering more battles.
Yeah.
Started getting more comfortable, right?
Yeah.
And I believe you said Armageddon. Ultrasounds. Does that sound familiar?
Oh yeah. Ultrasounds, DJ store in the Bay Area that catered to DJs specifically. They held a battle called Armageddon. I think Badrock won that one. I didn't do too well at that battle. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So then after that, you were like, you know what? Let me try DMC. What got you to get to that point?
DMC is a big time. And for those of you who don't know, like just look up DMC DJ Championship. And that's like the world's largest DJ battle. Like you battle your way through your country, and then all national champions like battle their way through like the world and everything. So there was a San Francisco like regional battle in 1998, and I entered, man, and I failed massively, but yeah. I tried. That's the first time I tried DMC in 1998, but just like I didn't make it past the elimination round. That was the first time I ever tried like scratching Spice Girls. For those of you who like just like look up DJ Pone Spice Girls, you'll probably find some rendition of it online. I actually for jam sessions last week, I started off my routine with like Spice Girls scratch. So yeah, I guess, I don't know. Like, I messed up on it a lot. I was really nervous and everything, but also probably people weren't ready. People were just were like DJing with like hip hop back then. Open format and like mashups, that wasn't a thing until like the 2000s.
But because of that, though, because I think tracing back to your competitive fire, right, like from wrestling and all that other stuff, you came back with a vengeance, right, the following year.
I did. 1999. I spent a lot of time like refining my routines, my DJ routines and everything. And for anyone who's ever battled before, there's a flyer for the 1999 DMC US Championship. Kind of like had little profiles of everyone. And I actually entered the San Francisco regional, but EJ from San Jose won it. And you're allowed to enter like a couple of regionals. And so I actually visited my sister in San Francisco. My sister who was living in Colorado at the time. I entered the Denver regional and won that one. I think I was a little bit lucky because one of the judges was Z-Trip, and he probably, I'm guessing, appreciated like some of the things that I was trying to flip, like mashup wise and everything. So yeah. I was lucky enough to make it to the U.S. finals, and you see my little profile there on the flyer for the DMC US finals.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe I said "May the Force be with you," man. Damn.
But hey, come on, you're glossing over this. Come on, talk about the experience. Like, I mean, you know, like you said, this is like the top of the mountain, right? Like,
It kind of is for battle DJing. Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, I'm just, you know, like, obviously you had all these other battles and stuff like that, and maybe you're gaining your confidence and all that stuff. But like, tell us about it. Like, how was it being there and your performance and stuff?
It's for anyone ever. If anyone, I guess everyone had to take like a speech class in college, I feel like. And if you've never like done public speaking before, you're just like nervous as hell, like uncontrollable, like physical, like shaking and everything is your reaction. So it's kind of like that. Not because I was uncomfortable with DJ and I've been practicing for years, but just being on that stage, like knowing like how much like this meant to me and performing in front of people and knowing that this was going to be on video, that just people around like the world was going to watch. It was insane. But like I was telling you the other day, the saving grace of performing on a stage with like lights in your face is you can't see the audience in front of you with like lights shining down on you. But I was still like, I gave a decent routine and everything. It wasn't perfect, but just like it's hard to control your hands like when you're that nervous. It's I guess the mark of like when you're really comfortable is like when you could get over those nerves. But man, I was really nervous. And the best way I could compare it to that people would be familiar with is like public speaking. It's so nerve-wracking.
Well, as you know,
yeah,
we have it.
Oh no,
it's online. So I feel like people want to see it. And I want to play so, you know, obviously, like, the U.S. final was good, right? Because I think I had the complete routine. But I want to show this one because what I love about this one is it shows a close-up of your hands. And when I saw your hands, I was like, holy shit. You're like, pat, 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 pat. You know what I mean? So, whereas the other one, it was just, like, straight from wide from the stage.
Yeah.
So, if everyone wants to see it, give me some ones in the chat real quick.
So, this is the regional championship I won when I visited my sister in Colorado.
Yeah. All right. Tell me how the audio is.
It's great. It's great. I even forgot this footage existed, man.
If you suck, I will lick your funky idiocies.
Oh, wow. I even forgot I had this routine. Wow, thanks for bringing that one back. I have not seen that one in maybe like over a decade. Some of those routines I forgot I had.
Sorry. Give it up for Pone, man. Give it
Whoa.
up. Damn. So yeah, you know, playing that back, you said it's
Yeah.
been 10 years. Like how
20 actually.
Like,
It's been 20.
I guess what was the thought?
1999.
is it 20? Oh yeah. 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 So what was I mean, you know, how long were you working on that routine? Were you like, you know, obviously I'm sure you were like adding on to it and taking things out and changing up and stuff like that.
Probably at
like,
least like a year. Like DMC, it's like getting to that level, you have to work on something for at least a year, I feel like. Yeah. Like the ideas, you get ideas like a lot, but you have to develop them to like a certain point, and you have to be able to execute them like under pressure and everything too. And so yeah, you have to be comfortable to the point where you could do them while like being really nervous and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. And did you get to meet Z-Trip and all the other
I
judges?
didn't meet Z-Trip then, but like I'd meet him a few times like after like that in my life. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, so from that point, you know, I think you were talking about like that was a pivotal moment in your life, right? It kind of opened a lot of doors for you, right?
It totally did, yeah.
And so now I call this section the wild ride because it blew the doors wide open. And
It
was
kind
like-
of did. It kind of did, yeah.
So let's go there. Let's tell us
right.
about it.
I should probably start with just like this was April 1999. That battle you saw. Came home, won won a DMC regional. I was gonna go to the U.S. finals in August that year. Oh, hey.
Hi.
Hey. Hey. And so right when I got home, that DMC regional in Denver was April 1999. I was DJing in a battle since I lived in Berkeley, California. There's an event called Hip Hop in the Park that the UC Berkeley Students for Hip Hop threw every year in People's Park. And they had a DJ battle there, and I was in it. This was May 1999. And after the battle, I got approached by Billy Jam. For those of you who don't know who Billy Jam is, he's just like this figure in Bay Area hip hop. There he is on the left. And he approached me and asked me, if I was DJ Pone, the one who won the regional championship recently, and I said yeah. And we talked, and Billy just lived in Oakland, California, and I just he invited me over to collaborate with him, dude, and we just started collaborating on stuff. He has a record label, he has radio show, and just started working on things with him at that point. Yeah. So you mentioned the record label. Did you mention the radio show as well? Yeah. Billy had radio shows on a couple of stations. One on the UC Berkeley radio station, CalX. He had one on KPFA as well. The one on KPFA is called Scratch Attack. He just invite a bunch of DJs over and have turntables set up, and we just jam for that entire 3 hours of the radio show.
Yeah, so that was Scratch Attack, correct?
That was Scratch Attack,
okay.
Yeah.
And then when did CalX? How did that come about?
Billy had this show on CalX as well, and those are shots, after the show. A lot of those shots are from after we had the show on Sunday morning. And that was less of a DJ focused show, more than it was inviting guests over and stuff just to hang out and talk. A lot of musical guests came over. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. And then, talk about it more, because it definitely opened up other things. There were, I believe you were talking about your battle crew, 89 Scratch Gangsters, right?
That was, you'll see my boy Dan, Snake Eyes, there once in some of those shots. And if you ever were a battle DJ, you knew that most battle DJs, at least in that came up in the 1990s, formed crews. Some of it was out of necessity, we'd have to drive to LA to a battle or something. So just you get your crew to just go up in one car together or something. Mm-hmm. Snake Eyes is a DJ from Vallejo, California. He also kind of came up in the scene, but where I met him actually was at Club Deco. If any of you know Club Deco, it was this kind of hole in the wall bar in San Francisco, and in the basement on Tuesdays, they'd have this event called the Beat Lounge, which was the creation of Derek D. Shout out to Derek D. And Derek D, Shortcut were among the residents there. And during the late 90s and the early 2000s, San Francisco was the turntablism capital of the world. And anyone from around the world who was into that scene just came through Club Deco on those Tuesday nights. And so I was I hung out there a lot. That's where I met Snake Eyes, and he was battling too, and that's when we just decided to become a DJ crew.
Nice. And I believe you guys released a couple tracks, correct?
We have a few tracks, some on Billy Jam's Hip Hop Slam record label, a couple or one on Dave Paul's Return of the DJ series. And I highly recommend that one track from Dave Paul's Return of the DJ series. It's called Director's Cut. I think you showed like a promo shot of that a little earlier. We're cutting up samples of Arnold Schwarzenegger and Van Damme basically, and the idea is that like it's a movie trailer to like a movie that never existed, at least at that time, with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Van Damme. You should check it out. Just like look it up on YouTube. 89 Scratch Gangsters Director's Cut. It's a cool listen. It's one of my favorite tracks that I helped create.
No, definitely. I gave that a listen. I was like, oh, this is dope, man. Yeah, no,
right there,
really
right
cool.
there.
Yeah, awesome. So actually, Neo 6 is actually he asked, what's up with Snake Eyes now? Have you keep in touch with them still, or?
Yeah, Snake Eyes is kind of laying low right now. I see him like every time there's a DMC regional in the San Francisco Bay Area. Like that's the times that I see him. But he's kind of laying low. Many of us in the DJ scene are wondering, like, Dan, if you're out there, let us know what's up, dude. But I hope you're doing well, man. But yeah, he's kind of laying low. But I see him at DMC all the time.
Oh, nice, cool. And so then from that point, I guess you kind of there's DJs of Mass Destruction, right?
Yeah, all these projects going on around like around the 2000s and stuff. It's kind of hard to create a timeline because it's like all over the place, right? Another project that we did at Hip Hop Slam. This was this is during the George W. Bush administration and during the Second Gulf War, and we kind of made a record produced by Billy Jam and with all those DJs that you see there. With samples from like Fox News or like George Bush talking and everything, and we put out a couple of albums under that DJs of Mass Destruction name. Yeah, I just kind of like turn in the media inside out, or with like all the ironies and stuff that you would catch. We're just scratching those little bits. Kind of cool. Yeah,
nice. And also during this time too, you were obviously still in touch with Badrock, correct? And there was a San Jose Street Festival that you attended, correct?
Oh yeah. Badrock moved up to Chico, California, and he got very involved in the music scene there, and he hooked up with a funk band. He was a DJ. He did scratches and laid down beats for during the live show for a funk band named Force 7. Anyways, I would visit Badrock in Chico and get to know the band. But there was this one show at a San Jose Street Festival that Badrock couldn't make, that Force 7 was playing. So he asked me to DJ in his place. So I did. And so the band that went on after us, like, they liked me so much, they asked me to stay on stage. Like, after Force 7 was done, it's like, can you scratch for us too? I'm like, sure. It turned out that they were a reggae band called DubFX. And so that's how I first joined this reggae band, DubFX, by just staying on the stage. It's cool. DubFX was kind of known around the Bay Area reggae scene. Like, we did shows, like I remember doing shows with like Native Elements, if you know Native Elements, around like the 2000s. And for those of you who are down with reggae, like I think 2003, we got to play the main stage at Reggae on the River, that big reggae festival, like up in like Humboldt County. And so I had a great time, like just by that chance. I had a great time with playing with DubFX, and it was just by that chance encounter, just like being on the stage, and they liked me. So yeah, DubFX.
And you were with them for a while, I believe. You said till 2004, right? 99 to 2004.
About 2004.
Yeah.
Because I joined another band by that time, but yeah, we could talk about that later.
Yes, we will talk about that. But that was the beginning of your, I guess, doing things with bands, right? Like,
yeah.
Awesome. And still, also, we'll jump to that big point in your life, but still at this time, you were still also DJing in clubs, right?
All the time. Sometimes with DJ Neo Geo. Actually, I see DNZ in the chat now. What's up, DNZ? Our boy DNZ straight out of Tokyo right now. But in some of those shots, you'll see myself, DJ Neo Geo, and there's me with some records, but you'll see some shots there with like this really tall Asian guy. That's like a foot taller than me, and that's DJ DNZ, who's in the chat right now. Everyone say what's up to DNZ, dude. But
what's up, DNZ? Sorry.
I first met DNZ like in the early 2000s when he was still in high school, and he became kind of part of that hip hop slam crew. But we kind of did other things. Like hip hop slam was more of a scratch like thing, and but we'd also do mobile gigs, and a lot of them I do with like DNZ and DJ Neo Geo, dude. Remember TFS? Yes, Neo Geo, TFS. That was right there. There's a Wonder on the left, DNZ, and then Neo Geo, and then myself. We did quite a few club gigs at that time. So yeah.
And what did TFS stand for?
I don't know if I could say. Secret. It would be forbidden for me to say so. Ha ha ha. It stands for like the forbidden style, I think, right? Is that okay,
Yeah.
DNZ, if I let the world know what TFS means?
So you guys always try to keep it like this veil of secrecy that no one knew about. Kind of kept some.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Okay.
But yeah.
Awesome. Okay, and then, I believe. So this wild ride was so good. Like you were having all these gigs. You were kind of performing with that DubFX. You're doing a lot of stuff with Hip Hop Slam.
Yeah.
And I think you went full time during this time, right? Full time DJing.
Yeah, like I think I worked in a law office, and I quit in 2002 or 2001. Probably 2001. So long ago. And yeah, I was able to pay the bills DJing for a few years.
That's awesome. And then also during that time too, you're so like I said, this guy was busy. So you were doing gigs, you're with a band, you're part of this record label, you're scratching, you had a radio show, and on top of that, you were teaching DJing to kids.
Yeah. Right? And I have the flyer here. I was a part of the NorCal DJ Music Production Academy, which was one of the which was like a DJ school, DJ and music production school that opened up around 2003. Yeah, we got to teach kids. We got to we were like in events. Like I remember setting up turntables at AT&T Park, like during the Giants game, and getting to teach people like passersby how to like DJ and scratch and stuff. So yeah, that was pretty cool too.
And so how long were you doing that?
I was with the DJ Music Production Academy from like 2003 until 2006-ish, 7. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, we can kind of show some of the pictures a little bit here.
Yeah.
So, yeah, NorCal DJ NPA. Yeah.
I just come from a wedding. That's why I'm wearing a suit.
Okay. I was wondering. I was like, wow, you're so
Yeah.
professional.
No. Like I said, I was so busy with DJing, but it's like I would go to all these events. But yeah, there's me teaching some kids.
Yeah.
Behind some sort of, I think that's like a cell. I think that's a cell. Yeah.
So let's go to the chat real quick. There were a couple great points that I think we might have glossed over.
Yeah.
So I believe Neo said that Scratch Gangsters at one point was you, Snake Eyes, Badrock, and Mike Boo.
Mike Boogie, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Briga Bankai.
It's so hard to say some of these names.
Bankai is Briga Bankai's my boy DJ Briga Dope, and I used to again during this time I worked with him at a record store. There's a shot of it right there called B-Side Records in Berkeley, California. Yeah.
You know, during this time at Hip Hop Slam, there were quite a few people who kind of frequented the Hip Hop Slam I guess space.
Yeah.
And you know, and so I'm assuming you met a lot of different turntablists and a lot of different cool people, right?
Yeah, people in hip hop bands, hip hop groups and stuff. Yeah.
And there was a certain I guess rock star that was around there, correct?
Yeah, this ghost is, and he's there in the middle in that picture right there. this takes me to the time that I became acquainted with Tim Armstrong. For those of you who know the band Rancid, punk band, came up during like that big ska punk wave in the 90s. I got acquainted with Tim Armstrong through Billy Jam and Hip Hop Slam. For if any of you like lived in Berkeley, Tim Armstrong, he used to live there, and just like you could randomly like meet him like in the street, and I guess he knew Billy from back in the day. And so besides Rancid, in the early 2000s, Tim had this side project going on, which was more of like a kind of like a hip hop like punk kind of thing called the Transplants. And let me dig up the record here for reference. So he had this project going on, which was like hip hop beats, but like with like punk, with like punk guitar and like vocals and stuff. And so here's the Transplants. Here's our first record. This is Tim Armstrong. Our drummer was Travis Barker from Blink-182. So in a way, it was kind of like a punk super band, like with Tim from Rancid and Travis Barker from Blink-182. And there was our rapper, Skinhead Rob. Yes, Skinhead Rob. So whoa, falling records. So Tim, I guess wanted some remixes off from that first album, and I guess Billy linked me up with Tim. This was around 2003, and we did some remixes for the Transplants some tracks from the Transplants first album. Yeah, that's how I met Tim. Yeah.
Yeah, but okay. So then from there,
yeah.
There's more.
It kind of blows up. Insofar as in 2005, by the time of the Transplants' second album, they got signed by a major label like Atlantic Records. And so to promote the album, they were like a headliner on Warped Tour, and they needed a show DJ at that time. So Tim asked me if I wanted to be their show DJ. This was 2005, and so you see a lot of the shots from the Warped Tour there. We were one of the headlining bands of Warped Tour in 2005, and it was awesome. Like performing for those were the largest crowds I'd ever performed for, like tens of thousands of people like at once. But it's funny, I was telling you, like the stuff I was doing, I was laying down beats or something or scratching. It was relatively simple. Like I was not nervous at all during those times. So yeah. But it was awesome, man. I got to hang around rock stars for that year. What else could I say? It was an awesome experience, kind of, and to be DJing for a band, and there thousands and thousands of people there. Even though I wasn't the focal point, it was I was just like a member of the stage band behind everyone, but it was phenomenal, man, to kind of live that life for like a year. Less than a year, because the Transplants actually broke up like right after Warped Tour. They got back together like years later, but they broke up like right after Warped Tour. But for the 2005, the first like 2/3 of 2005, just like living that and getting to tour and meeting rock stars and just being in the presence of them and being part of a rock stars band and everything was just like the greatest things, one of the greatest things ever. I could not ask for like anything more awesome than that, and I was fortunate and lucky enough to just kind of be placed to be a part of that. There's us at Kimmel Live, that video. Unfortunately, there's not much airtime of me. Again, I'm not a focal point of the band, but I think you get to see my hand once in a while. But yeah.
Yeah. So I might have missed it, but your first performance with them was at the House of Blues Sunset. Was it right?
That was one of our first performances
Yeah.
at House of Blues in Hollywood. Yeah.
So was that kind of like them like trying you out, like, hey, maybe we'll see if you're, you know, if you can hang with us type of thing, or was it already like, oh, let's just start touring, but let's have get a couple shows under a belt to kind of see how you do? Or
it was more the latter. Yeah, like we were already like rehearsing by that time.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was just like to kick off the Warped Tour.
Yeah. How were rehearsals?
It's just like a day of work. Like you come in the morning,
Yeah.
just go through songs, and like you make our set list, and just, you know, just decide like what songs to transition into, and you kind of premeditate like if you want to do any theatrics or anything, but it's just practicing the songs basically. Yeah.
Yeah. That's awesome. So I guess what was the big difference between, you know, so we kind of mentioned that, right? So you were at DubFX. So was this the reason why you had to leave DubFX, was to be with Transplants?
It kind of was. Yeah.
So how did you break the news to him?
I told him that I'm gonna, you know, I've been asked to be a part of another band. Yeah.
Damn.
So.
Yeah. How did they take it?
I think they were cool. I think they were pretty much cool with it. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
man, so crazy. But yeah, so I mean, so tell us about that. Like, so, you know, I know you did mention like it was like, oh, you perform in one place and then you go to sleep and then all of a sudden you work or you be in another place. Because I mean, Van's Warped Tour is pretty huge. So how many cities did you guys do? And
it's like I don't know, like 40 cities, and between 30 and 40 cities over like the summer, maybe 50 cities, and like some of Canada as well. So every major US kind of like area was covered, or sometimes twice. Like we were in LA, there were like 3 LA shows.
damn.
Yeah, we were everywhere from like you know, all the major cities, New York, Chicago area, like all the major Texas cities, to like we played like in Montana, to capture like that area. We were in Arizona, you know, we're all in like around the South. We went to Montreal, Vancouver, Calgary. Was there a Toronto? There's probably a Toronto area show. I forgot like where exactly, but yeah, all over. But it's just like how we were talking about. It's like perform, like go to the tour bus, sleep, like wake up. You're just like 1,500 miles away from where like you were, like, well, maybe like 800 miles away from where you were. Maybe not that much, but it seemed like it. We were traveling like so much. We're like 500 miles away from where we last were, kind of thing. Yeah, that was like go to sleep in Texas, like wake up in Pittsburgh, like things like that. So
Yeah. And so I don't know if this is true, but so basically Neo said, I think after Transplants broke up and reformed, I think Mixmaster Mike became their DJ or did shows with them. So it makes sense, you know, like you gotta, you know, just a tiny level up from Pone is Mixmaster Mike, right? not too big of a difference there, right?
That is true. When Transplants got back together, DJ Mixmaster Mike was performing with them, and you know, it's all good. It's like, whoa, it's just like I got upgraded. It's all good now.
Yeah. No,
like Mixmaster Mike, that's great. That's great. It's like, what can I be? It's like, that's so awesome, dude. Mixmaster Mike.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. So then, yeah, you know, after they break up, I still believe, like, you know, you were telling me that I think Tim, and Travis were still hitting you up to lay down some tracks and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, that's and this was I talked about how I was fortunate, like fortunate to be like living in Berkeley, like to meet Billy Jam, meet Tim. All of that's just like luck and everything. And I remember being after the Warped Tour. I remember being hit up by Travis Barker asking if like I could like come down to the studio real quick. But I was like I never moved to LA, man. It's like I'm from the Bay Area, and I was like, when do you need me there? He's like, can you be here in a couple of hours? I'm like, like, sorry, man. So I guess there might have been some lost opportunities, but you know, that's again like a matter of like luck. But it's all good. It's all good, man. Yeah, I think. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh,
Continue your thought.
I think at that time he was laying down like he was laying down tracks with Bun B, I think of UGK. That's I think what was going on in the studio then. Yeah.
Wow. But yeah, it's crazy. What a wild ride, man. And but if Tim or Travis were to hit you up, like, hey Pone, you want to come down and help us out? Would you?
I don't know. It's like Tim, gladly. Like I feel like I owe a lot to Tim and everything, and plus like he's here in the Bay Area and everything. With the Transplants, it's like a punk super band, but it was almost as if there were two camps, you know, like the Travis Barker camp and then the Tim Armstrong camp. I was clearly part of the Tim Armstrong camp. Yeah. I mean, I would love the opportunity to work with either Travis Barker or Tim Armstrong, but I don't know if I would like go to LA. Like, I don't know if I'd go to LA. I feel like talking about phases in life. That was a great time in my life. I'm no longer like a professional, like musician or DJ anymore. I guess, and I have a day job. JR. Like,
but hey, Travis, Tim, Pone, hit up Pone if you guys still want, man. Awesome. So then after that, obviously like that was just like like I mentioned, like that section is called the Wild Ride. You all these things that like definitely like obviously a lot of it was owed to Billy Jam, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And it definitely connected you to so many different things. You did so many amazing things, and so after this, we call this After the Wild Ride.
After the Wild Ride.
Yeah. So what happens, after the band breaks up, and is Hip Hop Slam, were you still connected with them, or what happened exactly?
I was still connected with them. We were still doing the radio show and such. I was still scratching. I was still working at B-Side Records. But I promised myself I would be nice about this, but I met a girl. Neo, you be nice too. And that kind of changed my world in a lot of ways. And by 2006, I had a bad breakup. Okay. And that affected my life in a lot of ways as well. Yeah. Should I just skip forward to like what happened?
No, I mean, well, not what exactly happened. But,
of course.
Go, like, so moving on from that bad breakup, where did you go? And
this is like the weirdest thing ever, but I went to law school. I went to law school, and I started the process to go to law school in 2007, and I went to law school in 2008. And so I guess I quit. I had to stop being a professional DJ like at that time and everything. And it was kind of like a lull in my DJ life. I kind of was not in the scene. I still I brought my turntable to law school with me and everything. But it wasn't as intense. Like my DJing activities were not as intense.
But here's the thing though, you did mention this to me. Even it wasn't as intense, you weren't as fully immersed in it. People still did recognize you from those old battles, right?
Definitely. might have mentioned earlier, those DMC battles, like the U.S. finals, like that people hear of you. It's kind of like the parallel I could make. And again, this is it was kind of like how skate videos made people famous, like in the 90s and everything. It was kind of like that with DJ videos in the 1990s. Like you were on the U.S. finals, like people in the scratch community would know you like from all around. And so I actually met some scratch DJs in I went to law school at University of Michigan and Ann Arbor, which is near Detroit. I met people like who recognized me, like, "You're Pone?" I'm like, how do you know? And stuff like people, I guess, you're a scratch DJ, you watch all those videos and everything. But it was kind of cool to meet people who are part of that world, like even in Detroit. Shout out to Detroit Scratcher though. Some of the folks I met are from like Detroit Scratcher. So shout out to y'all in Detroit.
Nice. And so after law school, you so like I said, you're still messing around with it, here and there, and then after law school, you came back to the Bay Area, right?
Yes.
And I believe you were obviously you were still in touch with Can Beats, but then you started doing more gigs with them again, and kind of got back into the scene, and right?
Yeah, definitely. I came back to the Bay Area in 2012, and I got to give it up to my boy Neo Geo, who Neo Geo throughout the 2000s, man, he held it down. And Neo Geo, you're quite prominent in the Bay Area club scene, man. And I got to thank you for helping me and letting me back into like that whole scene, dude, when I came back from law school. So so we got to spin a little, and we do a lot of mobiles, and that's kind of Can Beats, the mobile crew, and as well as doing clubs, kind of became revived. Well, not revived, but my part in it became revived. Yeah,
I mean, and it just goes to show, I mean, definitely, like, it always traces back to you meeting Amiel, right?
Yeah.
And Mike Awesome. It was, and then obviously Neo, and it was like this brotherhood that you guys kind of had, right? And it's nice to kind of come back to that kind of something that's familiar. And I mean, that's and DJing is what brought you guys together, and you guys now have a strong bond, and it's amazing.
It's something that will always be with me and my bros, Mike Awesome, Neo Geo, DNZ. Yeah.
Give them a follow, Can Beats, baby. And so you started doing some mobile stuff. You've been doing a lot of that, the club scene, and then I believe you guys also started a podcast in 2017.
In 2017, we jumped on the whole podcast bandwagon, the Real Can Beats podcast. You could catch it on, I think we're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Google Play, like everywhere there's podcasts, but look for the Real Can Beats podcast. It's basically me, Neo Geo, and Mike Awesome hanging out. I think that's the gist of it. Like, we talk about our DJ gigs, but it's mainly just us more hanging out. And we have a small audience, but we love our small audience. Yeah.
No, definitely, man. It's all about the community. The community you have, no matter how big or small it is. Definitely. So no, that's awesome. So and then now, we can tune into you guys on Twitch as well, right? You guys can see it down there. DJ Pone 89 Can Beats.
That's
on
right.
Instagram and Twitch.
Yes.
You can also follow Mike Awesome and Neo Geo in the chat.
And I will have to say, for Caesar Salad Productions, thank you for having the Can Beats DJs on.
And where can we for the audience who's not familiar with your guys' weekly show, when can we tune into you guys?
So the Can Beats Saturday Night Mix show is on starting at 9 p.m. every Saturday, Pacific time, 9 p.m. And we go on till 2 a.m. We have guests. We often have guests. Like we had DNZ one a few weeks ago. We just had DJ Mr. B from 41 Funk on. We like to have like our good DJ friends on the show. Dilemma was a guest on the Can Beats Saturday Night Mix show as well. Briga Bankai as well, who's there. So yeah, tune in every Saturday night, except for Saturday of December 12th, because you're going to be watching jam sessions on Caesar Salad Productions during that time, and Mike Awesome's going to be on. Yeah, definitely tune in to those guys, because they still hold it down till 2 a.m. And we were joking. Neo was saying something to the effect of you can take the DJ out of the club, because I was joking. I was like, oh, it's you guys are still rocking late night hours, and he's like, well, you can take the DJ out of the club, but you can't take the club out of the DJ. Yeah. So what is awesome. As our man Briga Bankai says, demon hours. Those are those demon DJ hours.
So I was mentioning earlier. So if anyone has any questions in the chat, definitely we can have a little Q&A with Pone right now. One thing actually I forgot to bring up was one thing I definitely noticed. It's also one of your emotes, and definitely I think probably people are curious. What's up with your frog?
Froggy.
Froggy
is, I guess the best way to explain Froggy is kind of Canned Beats mascot there. People who have the Froggy emote, you want to Froggy the chat? There it goes. DNZ just Froggy the chat. And Froggy comes from... Froggy, you'll see him in a lot of those photos from the 2000s. He was just like everywhere with me at those gigs and everything. Mm-hmm. I got Froggy from one of my jobs. One of my first jobs out of college was at a .com, and one of the internet pet retailers, I won't say their name, was where I worked, and Froggy is actually a dog chew toy. This is, whoever invented stuffed animals to be dog chew toys, it's making a lot of money. So Froggy was made to be a dog chew toy, but I rescued him from the jaws of a dog. So there he is, Froggy. I saved his life, and he pays me back by coming everywhere.
And I believe that's the original, correct?
That is the original Froggy. There are some stand-ins because this Froggy doesn't leave the house. Yeah.
Awesome. And everyone's asking, I guess I might have missed it, but everyone's asking, why didn't Ice-T want to battle you, Pone?
Okay. That's a good one. That's a good story. Whoever brought it up, that's a good story. So 2001 DMC US Finals was in San Francisco, California. I didn't make it that year. I placed third in the San Francisco regional that year.
Time out real quick though. Okay, so for everyone who knows, I mean, the DJs of the DJs, it's all, it's huge, right? The battles, in DMCs usually are pretty huge in SF. So for you to, I know you're like, oh, I didn't do that well. Placing third in SF is huge. Come on, man. You're so humble, dude. Seriously.
It was a very stacked field, and shout out to Snake Eyes, who placed second in my crew, and Golden Child, who would represent San Francisco that year.
Here's a good reference. It's almost like sorry to the East Coast basketball fans, but it's like, the Western Conference is SF. The Eastern Conference is everywhere else. You know what I mean? So, okay.
So going on to the 2001 U.S. Finals, I was a spectator there, and I was in the audience, and Ice-T, Ice-T, the rapper and the SVU star, was a host. Ice-T is pretty awesome because he knows a lot about, he wasn't a stupid host. He knew what he was talking about, the DJ. And he might have not known all the advanced moves, but he treated, he treated the DJ. He wasn't stupid about it. He was very respectful. Anyways, so I was, when Golden Child was about to go on, and you could see this, they show this on the video, if you get the 2001 US Finals, like the clip right before Golden Child starts. Like I'm just like I make my way to the front and I'm just shouting like my head off, like cheering Golden Child. And Ice-T just like notices me and he goes like, "Who are you?" And so I got business cards for like the 89 Scratch Gangsters, like our DJ crew made. So I took the opportunity, like I gave him my card. And then like Ice-T like gets it on stage. He's like, "Scratch Gangsters?" He's like, "You ain't no gangster." So Ice-T, the original gangster, like just tells me like in front of everyone like that I'm not a gangster. It's like the awesomest thing. And it's like I didn't make the US finals, but I think like I had one of the most notable moments in that US finals still.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. Wow. Let's see. And then DNZ also asked, what's on your shoulder?
It's an inside joke.
Okay, got it.
I can't. This is a family show, so I cannot state what's on my shoulder.
Right.
But DNZ, you got me.
Oh man, too good.
DNZ is he was in high school when we met him in 2000, and DNZ, we love him. We love you, DNZ, but you're also like little brother sometimes, and you got me right there, little brother. So.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. So I guess Neo. It's kind of cool because Neo is kind of dropping some knowledge and stuff like that. But, you know, like a little like insider, like I guess it's like the pop-up video where you see other chat, you know, stuff.
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
But basically, Neo Geo says those car show battles Pone was in, like the one where STA first linked up. The later year battles, we always saw Pone battling with the Finger Bangers crew. Golden Child,
that's
Cutso,
true. Yeah.
G-Rex, Nobility, EJ, and Rocky Rock when they were part of the crew. So, yeah, man, like you... See, I'm telling you, you were up against some heavy hitters, dude. Like, so much props to you. Seriously.
Thank you. But I come out of the San Francisco scene, like, and spawned so many great DJs. I'm glad just to be a part of it.
Yeah, and it was all traced back to you watching those, you know, like Yo MTV Raps and Qbert giving you his blessing.
Yes, as everyone. Like everyone who's a battle DJ most everyone owes a massive debt to Qbert as far as like influence on style and everything, and going back, like thank you for helping me to unearth that memory of that early influence. But I would also have to give a shout out to I mean the guy who kind of brought the Bay Area DJ culture to me and who taught me how to DJ, Mike Awesome. And so I'm glad we're still DJing together, Mike Awesome. Mike Awesome. So Mike Awesome and Qbert, I guess, are both my DJ daddies. I guess if you want to put it that way. So,
I don't know if you want to put it that way. Maybe DJ older brothers. I don't know, DJ daddies just doesn't sound right. Oh man, amazing. So everyone, give it up for DJ Pone.
Thank you, Caesar Salad Productions, for hosting myself on these couple of shows, hosting DJ Neo Geo on the last DJ Jam sessions. All good, man.